Hey everyone, I'm Joe and today I'm doing a book review of the Mars Trilogy by Stanley Robinson. The trilogy comprises of 3 books, those being Red Mars, Green Mars and Blue Mars. This is a very impressive and very large trilogy with a combined page count of roughly 2,500 pages, so it's a really epic in every sense of the word. And it is a hard science fiction trilogy and one that I thought was brilliant, and I rated this extremely highly. I couldn't play this trilogy enough because frankly they were amazing. First of all, I'll do a synopsis of the 3 books, and it should be pretty much spoiler free as well because I'm not really going to say much more than what you would find on Goodreads about the 3 books in question. So first of all, Red Mars. In the year 2027, 100 astronauts / colonists go to Mars, the main one of which, and the only guy who has been to Mars previously, the first sort of Martian, is one called John Boone. They start the construction of the essential services and buildings that they will need, bedrooms, a area to eat, bathrooms, power stations of various kinds, and they start to explore this new world because of course we can see from satellite and such, but of course it's very different when they are down there on the surface and they are driving around the surface of Mars in rovers and exploring it and trying to figure out how to expand upon what they have done and how to build more. For a long time in the book, it is purely the first 100. They're on their own, they are just exploring, and this part of the book I actually found to be quite nice because you get a real sense of them just exploring and just sort of really enjoying the simplicity of trying to create this new sort of small little society that they're a member of, and it's a really interesting and well written section. Towards the end of the book, other colonists will start to arrive and events start obviously changing because of course the demands from Earth start to increase, and obviously frankly there leads on to the events of Green Mars, which is basically a revolution. Earth wants to use Mars for a very different reason than what the first 100 have become used to. Earth wants to basically rip Mars apart, drain it of metals, of any kind of valuable materials they can find, and use it pretty poorly really in a lot of people's eyes. And the first 100 don't like this, and basically this book is about a revolution, counter-revolution, and the sort of evolution of this society and the culture. And you get to know a little bit about Earth society as well, but not much until you get to the 3rd book, Blue Mars. In this, the society of both the new Martians and indeed the first 100 are starting to sort of integrate a bit more, and they're working together a bit better now. They're still trying to become a independent sort of culture and independent civilization pretty much, because they realise that they are on another planet. They can't just be a colony of Earth. Earth is doing poorly in some respects, and you do know why Earth does this because you get told in a really interesting manner. And the final revelations of how this society turns out and what it might become is interesting. I'm not going to say more, of course, because it would contain spoilers. So I'll quickly talk about the characters. The characters I didn't actually expect that much from, because from what I'd read from Goodreads and such, people were saying that the character development was frankly poor and pretty terrible in most cases, and it was remarkably minimal. I would disagree with this. Robinson has got 2,500 pages between the 3 books to develop both the world, the culture, and indeed the people. Admittedly, it focuses on the first 100 more, although there are a few other characters that are very significant as well, especially obviously in the further 2 books. And admittedly as well, there are a few stereotype characters and he does use stereotyping to describe characters and certain characteristics of them, but I can personally forgive that, considering what he's trying to achieve with these books. I mean, he's trying to achieve something, frankly, massive, and he's trying to explain how an entire civilization could theoretically evolve and what it could involve, which is no mean feat. As far as the ideas and concepts in the book go, one of them is the birth and evolution of a society and indeed the world itself. It's about how a world and a society can be created and how it evolves over time depending on the requirements and demands of certain groups of people. And of course this has got several groups of people, some of them wanting society to grow in different ways, and them having conflict and argument, because obviously some of them want it purely for resources, some of them want it as a sort of utopia, some of them want to leave it as an original Mars. All these conflicts and all these differing views make for a remarkable introspective on society and our culture today, which I thought was really fascinating. This also leads on to the other idea of an exploration of society. How does it work and why does it work the way it does? This delves into various aspects of it in quite a bit of detail. Sometimes the detail is almost painfully, excruciatingly detailed, but personally I didn't mind this because it was really interesting to think about. He delves into the aspects of social, political and environmental, as well as the physical aspects of what a society is, how it works and how it can evolve and what it evolved from, because this is not just about a new society, this is reflecting back on Earth society and indeed our society as it is now. And indeed that is the third concept that I thought was quite interesting in the book. He talks about ecology and environmentalism and attaches it directly to our world as it is this second, because our world needs to be improved in many ways, and indeed this is something that I believe in myself. He's trying to explore what we could do to improve our world and what we could do to improve it in regards to future needs and indeed a sort of future proofing, so to speak, because the society that develops in this book is one that some people want as a utopia, some people want to just expand upon what we've got now, with a pure consumerism society, and the world and environment is not doing so well. And he's exploring it in some remarkable detail on what we could do to try and fix the problems and alleviate them to quite a large degree. And it's one that I found really fascinating, and the amount of research that he's put into the 3 books is evident. I mean, it's well known that he did research for nearly 10 years on these books, and frankly it shows, because the detail and the level of just ideas that he goes into are frankly remarkable, and I love this trilogy as a whole. So overall, an amazing and epic science fiction trilogy which deal with some really interesting and thoughtful areas that affect both our world today and future ideas. And it's a trilogy that I would recommend heavily to anybody that's interested in this sort of ideas. With that said, that's it for this review. So if you've read any of the books or indeed would like to read this trilogy, then please let me know in the comments below and we can have a conversation. All my social media links can be found in the description box below, as they always are. And with that said, that's it for this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.